We are recording. This time I'd like to welcome Brother Ochan to the forefront to share testimonies of the things Abba is doing in his life and where he's at, and maybe give us a little backdrop. We started, shall we?
And we're just so happy to have you tonight.
Amen to that. Can I say shalom to everybody?
Shalom.
Yes.
Amen. Well, I'm happy to be here for this. I think for the second time for me to speak. I think the last time I was here, I came in twice after my testimony. And I can give you a little bit of the part that I left off a little bit for the testimony. And then I'm going to share the restoration that the Father doing in my life right now. I'm very, very excited. I don't even look back into my life, the thing that I went through, like they are bad thing. I literally thank the Father that he really picked me out of the nothingness, because many of you do not know what my name means. When we pick names in my culture, they have meaning. None of it is absolutely without a meaning. And my name mean poor and wretched. When you are wretched and poor, that's what my name is. And many of you would say, why is it that your mommy give you that name? My mom did that because she felt that when her husband passed away, before I was born, she felt like she's poor and wretched now because she cannot work. She cannot do the thing that the men does back home. There's no company and no office that you have to work. You have to work like the way back in time. So she felt like she lost everything. So she felt like she's poor now because her husband is not here. And she's pregnant with a son that will never see his dad again. So she feel like she was poor of the poorest. So that's what my name means. So I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm just going to try to share what I left over last time. And then I'm going to share one of the best things for me. I think one of the best things that I can say that nobody cannot take away from me is what I'm going to share in the end. And I hope my brother and my sister, I hope it is a blessing after I'm done talking to you. Because when I went through, it was not a blessing. When I went through, I can tell you I shed a lot of tears. I cry a lot. But now when I look back, I can literally go back into the same road and take the same road again, because for what it is doing to me right now, I don't even deserve it. I cannot even think about the thing that happened to me like there's something really bad. I think that I need that to go through in order for me to be restored to where the Father would want me to be. Because right now, I do not think that I can do this work if I did not go through what I went through. So in order for me to do the work that I'm doing right now, I'm going to share a little bit about it in a little bit so you guys can see. I have to go through that. I have to go through that in order for me to do this job according to how the Father wants me to be. With all those problems and all those sinful nature that I incorporate into my life, I cannot do this work without the Father had to get me through that path and remove all those bugs or everything out of my my life that really can hinder me to do the work of Yahweh. So it was not a beautiful path for the flesh, but his spirit rejoices every time I look back. I am so thankful that the Father chose me to go through that and allow me to go through it. So I'm going to begin with something that just happened 2 days ago. I was praying 2 days ago, and I'm asking the Father, what do I do from here? What else can I sacrifice on the altar? What else can I do? I know that you entrust me with these people that you keep bringing to my house, and people I never met. So I don't want to do anything to lead anybody astray. So please help me to, what I share, let it be the truth. So what happened was, one of my son, I don't know who is it. I tried to call them today and find out who did that. They don't want to tell me. My ex-wife, that I had to go through the thing that I went through. I don't know if that's her or that's my son. I didn't know who did it. So somebody send me a text. And this is what the text wrote. They said like this: why is it that you keep bringing many children into the world that you could not, even you yourself cannot raise? You abandon them, you don't take care of them, and you keep bringing more children to the world. That is so wrong. We are struggling, but one day we're going to grow up, we will have a lot of money, and we will forget about you. When I read that, at first I was like, amen. And then all of a sudden, you know, the flesh kicked in, and I was like, let me read it again. When I read it again, and all of a sudden, I started to feel bad. I started to feel, yes, maybe I abandoned them. Maybe I could have did something. But here's the beautiful thing about our Father. All of a sudden, I have a phone that I had for a long time. I did not touch the screen. I don't know how it happened. I know the Father can do this, but it's amazing. What happened was the Father allowed the screen to click itself and then bring Luke chapter 11, verse 28. And let me read it to you. It's amazing. This thing is really, really, because the Father know what about to happen to me. So he wanted to give me encouragement to show me that what I did was not wrong, because I feel like I did something wrong. But look what the Father did. I did not click that screen. I don't know how that screen come up with my phone. It just came up and it landed on Luke chapter 11, verse 28. And hear what the word of the Father said. Just that verse alone. I don't know why I fell on that verse. I don't know at first, but I knew why after I read it. This is what it said. But he said, yea, rather blessed are they that hear the word of Yahweh and keep it. And then the Spirit say, and then the thought coming to my mind telling me that, you remember Father Abraham? I said, yes. But in order for him to keep the purity of the gospel, he had to cast away Hagar and his son. Your ex-wife, she's the one that cast herself away because she didn't want to do what I called you to do with you. And she turned the children against you. So you were keeping what I was saying to keep. And I fell down on my knee and I cried. And I thank the Father so much for giving me that text of encouragement, because I almost feel bad like I did something wrong to my children. Because I don't know who wrote this. Then I called my older son. And I asked him, did you write something like this? He said, no. I said, what about your sibling? Did anybody wrote something like this to me? He said, no. I don't know. Maybe you can call them. But three of them, they don't want to talk to me. One of them called me that he said that he wished that I was not his dad. So now let me pick it up from where I left last time so I can show you guys what the Father is doing to my life. You know, 2015 is one of the best years for me. I mean, 2016 is one of the best years for me that I feel the weight of sin in my life, that the Father truly allowed me to really almost sink deep to the point that I do not know what to do. Everything was locked up, that I could not do anything to see a light. All I see is problem after problem. And then in 2016, what happened was I was staying on my friend's house across the street from where my ex-wife lived, where we used to live together. She kicked me out of the house at that time. It'd been 4 years. And the reason why she kicked me out of the house, because she told me the only reason why you can be my husband, unless if you say no to the feast day. I'm okay with you keeping the 7-day Sabbath, but you cannot keep the feast day. If you keep the feast day and you go to the feast, then you cannot be my husband. So she made it clear that the problem she had with me, it was not because there is any problem between me and her, or maybe a money problem. It was not because of that. The problem was she cannot see herself and my children to be taught to keep the feast day, because in her mind, they are done away with. We don't need them. Yeshua came and fulfilled them, so they done away with. We can only keep the 7-day Sabbath. And if you continue doing that, then I cannot be your wife. And then for a year and a half, I would come back from work. This is why I say it's hard for me that year, and then it's better. So the first harder part is I would give her money that I make and only leave me a little bit. And the father told me too, I need to do another ministry in Africa that keeps sending money to Africa. So I would be left with nothing. And then when I come home, the money that I give her to make food, she know that I wanted to be vegetarian. I don't want to eat animal product anymore, but she would not cook for me. And then she would take my clothes. It was the winter time of that year. She would put them right at the door and let the snow fall on them. All my blanket, my shoes, she would put them in a bucket, and then the bucket would be full of snow. And then when I come back from work, I would find them, and I would know I knew who did it. I would pick them up. I would bring them back to the laundry. I would wash them. I would not ask who did it. I would not ask what happened. You know, I would come and say hi to her, and she wouldn't want to talk. And I did that for a year. That's why I say it was tough, because sometimes it happened twice a week. Sometimes it would happen 3 or 4 times a month. And sometimes I would go with 2 to 3 days without eating, because I purposely would do that because I didn't want her to go and eat somewhere else. Because I wanted to put something in her mind so she can see I truly love them, and I would want them to see what the Father showed me. And because I don't eat somewhere else, it would make her mad too, because she would see me that I am very, very hungry and I would want to eat, but I can't eat the thing that she cooked. And then when I try to cook myself in the house, she get mad too. I can't cook in the house too. And if I go to my friend's house, church, so many of you guys didn't met, he was here the last time I had my testimony, she would get mad too. So I can't eat out of my friend's house, and I can't eat in my house. I can't cook. So I don't know what she would want me to do. So I decided that I'm going to go for 3 days without eating. I'm just going to drink water. And then on our way to Walmart, we came out of the car. I was fainted, and I literally fainted, and I had to grab a car because I did not have food for 3 days. All I was drinking is water and a little bit of cup of juice sometimes. And I can see her, she feel bad, and then she start crying, and she's like, and she told me something that I thought that was shocking. For real, I thought she really repented, because the thing that she said that was amazing. She said, I can't believe that I'm doing this to you. I don't know why I'm doing it. And then she went home for the first time, and she cooked me something that I really, really like, and I eat that day. And I thought she was repentant. And then a couple of days later, I find my clothes again on the street. You know? And then in 2016, that's when the Father told me that enough is enough. You got to let this woman go, because the end of 2016, that's when she told me, the Father told me that we got to let this woman go, because she's hindering your work. And I struggle with that, because I really do love my children. At that time, we had 2 days old baby. And even today, as we're speaking, I don't even know what that baby looked like. I really don't. All I see the pictures. The last day that I saw her, when we brought her out from the hospital, because I went and visited her in the hospital. From that day, she would not allow me to see that baby, nor the rest of my children, so I couldn't see them. It's been almost 5 years now. I seen that little girl, and my 4-year-old. We were like 4 years at that time. Now he's 8 years old. I just spoke with him a couple of days ago. So now the door about to be open again. So now I can speak with my children a little bit. But for 4 years, she will not allow me to speak with them because she said that I wanted to kill her with the children together, and the government believed it. So they put a protection order against me. And then in the end of 2016, their house burned, and the fire. They don't know who started the fire. So I think somebody said that it was me that did it. So what happened was, I was called to the police station, and they was in a set a court date for me because to testify that if I did that or not. But the beautiful thing about it, that day, the father allowed me to go to work early in the morning. By the time that the fire happened at 9 o'clock, I was at work. I normally take my break at that time at 9 o'clock, and I wouldn't leave the work, but I didn't. For the father wanted to serve me to know that I didn't do anything. So what happened was I stayed on the clock. He did not allow me to clock out. Normally I would clock out and spend whatever time that I do. I would go home and do something and read the Bible. I literally just went and prayed for something telling me I don't want to leave. For some reason, I didn't. I came back and I stayed on clock. So all of a sudden, I received a call from somebody else telling me that your ex-wife's house is on fire and the house is completely burned. And the beautiful thing about it, that I thank the Father so much, at that time, 8 people were in the house. That include my children. And every one of them, they were sleeping. So the half of the house was totally burned and nobody even know it. That's amazing. By the time they woke up, that they know the fire. The fire detector didn't go off. Nothing go off, but the whole half of the house, all the way to the kitchen, they all burned out except for the room that everybody was sleeping. By the time they wake up, they could not get out of the house because all the exit was totally controlled by the fire. They had to go out through the window and broke the window. And when I received the call, when I saw it on the television, I was like, oh no, Father. I got out of that job right away. I ran. But you got to understand, I had a protection order against my children and my ex-wife, so I can't get there either. So I don't know. By the time I get there, they evacuate everybody. I don't know if they're safe or anybody get hurt. I did not know. And I was only given 150 meter or 150 feet from the house. I cannot go beyond that. So I couldn't see what happened. And then I saw my younger daughter walking around, and I asked her, please come. And she came, and I said, is everybody okay? She said, yes. And I said, where is your mother? She said that she went into just look at another house they're going to transfer us to so we can stay there because this house is gone. And I said, where are the little children? They said that she took them to their friend's house right here, next door across the street from where the fire is, but I can't get to them. Then I called the police. I said, please, I want to see my children. Can somebody come and take me to where my children is so I can talk to them? And then they just told me that, why don't you just go and say it? I said, no, I had a protection order against them that I can't go to them. But I want to see them. I want to see if they're okay. And then the police refused. They say, no, we can't send somebody there. If your daughter said that they say, then they say, then call their mother. I said, I can't call her because I had a protection order against her. So what happened was I took it, what my daughter said, I left. And then 1 hour later, I got a call from the police station that I just called. And they say, Mr. Deng? I said, yes. They say, we would want to come to your job right now and to speak to you about the house situation, that fire that happened, or you can come to our police station. I said, I don't want you to come to my job. I'm going to come to you guys. They say, okay, well, you got 1 hour for you to come here. I said, I'm still at work. They said, it doesn't matter. You need to come soon. I was like, okay. So I clock out. I took my receipt. Then I clock out. I came to them with my work clothes, and the name of the company was there. And he's like, oh, you just came from work? I said, yeah, like I told you. And he said, where were you at 5 o'clock this morning? And I showed him the receipt. I said, look at that. This is where I was. I was at work at 5 o'clock. So where were you at 9 o'clock? 9:45 when this house went on fire. And I said, look at the time of clock. I clock in at 5 o'clock. I got out at 10. So you can see right now, you just called me to come here at 10:45. At 11:45, yeah. So I got out at 11:45 to be here. So between 5 and 11:45, I didn't leave the company. Here's the receipt. You can call the people at my job. They will tell you where I was. They say, and he asked me a question that I almost cried when he said that. He said, would you put a fire into your children and kill them? I said, I almost hit the table when he said that. And I look at him and I said, sir, yeah, I would rather take my life before I can take a life of my children. There's no reason why I can do that. I don't see how I can do that. I don't see how life can be bad to the point I need to take the life of my own children. I could not see it. It's something that I can't understand. You asked me a question that is not even in my mind. So I just want to let you know. You guys find out who did this. I didn't do anything. I just want to know where my children is even right now. I didn't talk to them yet. And he said, okay, you can go home. We will come back to you. So they left. I left. And then for 2.5 years now, they haven't called me. Because I think they find out that it's something that I didn't do. You know? My brothers, let me tell you guys this. I used to travel to all the churches in 2011 and 12 and 13 to preach the gospel, because when I learned how to read the Bible, I never read the Bible before until 2009. I don't even know John 3:16 where it was. So when I first read John 3:16, because I was sick and I almost died of sickness, and that's how the Father called me to this truth, I was like, everybody needs to know about this book. So what I did was I would just show up on the Lutheran church, in the Methodist church, on the Presbyterian church, but most of the churches at that time, I knew their pastor, because some of them, they were my relatives, some of them, they were my friend. So I would beg them, please help me to preach the gospel, help me to preach next week. So I preach. And my main message for everybody is everybody needs to repent and they need to keep the Sabbath. That's why I don't care what you think. I just want to tell you the Sabbath is something you got to keep, and you need to repent from your sin, otherwise you're going to die. And if you die as a sinner, you are lost. That's the message the Father gave me. The beautiful thing about that is everybody knew me at that time, even the church called Seventh Adventist Church. They knew me at that time too, because amazingly they allowed me to preach in their church too. And we know that sometimes they're strict, but I had a friend there who allowed me to preach, and then I preached one of the message about the bondage, which is I'm going to touch in a little bit today. And I see almost half of the congregation was crying. And I thought, why everybody start weeping? And then by the time I was done, everybody was coming. They were like, it was so beautiful. I don't know what you said, but it was so beautiful. We love it. And that was one elder in that church that came. He lived in another state, in another city called Parable. He came to that church that day while I was preaching. And then he said, he invited me right away. He said, I want you to preach this message again next week at a Parable church. And I said amen to that. So I went there. And the reason why I say that is this. After, in 2012, when I accepted to follow the feast day, all of a sudden, all the churches that used to accept my message, that used to love the way I preach, they kicked me out of the churches. I couldn't even go in. So my ex-wife was fighting against me and tell everybody, that include my own brother. I had a brother that called me and said, man, what kind of man are you? We just abandoned his own children. I was going through that with my brother. I was going through that with my mom. I was going through that with my family. I was going through that with my community. I was going through that with all the churches in Minnesota. So at that year, I felt like, you know what? I don't know where to go. And I became homeless for 2 years. And one guy who took me in, who allowed me to preach at that church, they were called by his own congregation and they persuaded him to kick me out of his house. You cannot give that devil man a room to stay. That's how they called me, a devil man, because I keep the feast day. Now, why am I saying these things? Here is the purpose why I'm saying these things. We're going to come to the meat of this thing. I really love this. I really love it. I thank the Father for allowing me to taste how sin really is, so I can see how beautiful he is. I really am. I really don't even deserve what he's giving me to do right now. I really don't. I don't feel like I fit to do it, but I thank him because I see what he did in my life. I'm going to do the best. I'm going to try to do the best that I can, because he's truly restoring me into something that I could never do in myself, no matter how I try. I can see the restoration, man. I can see the restoration, and I love it. I really love it. So I want to encourage all of you guys, whatever you go through, it's needful for you to be. It's needed. You need it to go through in order for the Father to restore you into the image of the Father and the Son, so you can worship him and bring the gospel to the people according to how the Father would want you to be. We cannot do it with our own intellect. We cannot do it with our own pride. We cannot do it. I could not understand why the Father didn't allow me to go to school, and I tried to go to school so many times. He would not allow it. The last time I tried it, I was sick. The second time I tried it, my son was sick and he almost died. So every time I tried to go to school, he would not allow me to go to school. So I'm here before you guys to tell you guys that I thank the Father because he didn't allow me to go through school, because if I did, I'm one of those people, when I see something like it is truth, and I take it seriously. I would have took the education seriously, and it would block the Father to speak to me. So he did not allow me to go to school because he can speak to me, because I don't know anything about the system of education. I really didn't. I did not even finish my high school. He did not even allow me to do so. And every time I seen the people graduate, I would feel bad. But every time I try to do it, I would be sick or something happened so bad that I can't go to school. But now I see why he did it. And I'm very thankful that he did it. Now, here's the message that I want to show to you guys. The restoration, what the Father did to me. As Charlene called me last week, I went down on my knee. I asked the Father, what do you want me to share with them according to the testimony that you have given me that can really help your people? Two things came to my mind, but the Father chose one. Many of you, I don't know if you know this one, and if you know it, pray be to the Father. I did not know what I'm about to share with you about a year ago. I don't. I just knew this what I'm about to share with you about 5-6 months ago. That's when the Father truly revealed this to me. And it brought me down to my knee, and I want to obey the Father because of that. Many of you I'm just going to ask, and I'm going to start with a question. And feel free, please, to answer if you can. Many of us, we know that the 7-day Sabbath and the feast day, they were made for worship. Without a doubt. But here's the question I would like to ask you. Do the Father create the worship system because he needs our worship, or does he create the system of worship because we need to worship him? I want you to think about that. Don't just think about it. Let me answer it. Let me ask it again. The Father create the system of worship. Does he create the system of worship because he needs our worship? Or we need to worship him? Man, when I find this out, man, I love the Father. I really do. I really do. Because he's truly love. Here's the second question. And I want you guys to think about the second question so carefully. What was it that made Lucifer unclean? What is it that went inside Lucifer to make Lucifer unclean? To become an unclean spirit, what was it? Because you and I, we can say that the devil gave us his spirit, that's why we're unclean. But what about him? Who made him unclean? I don't know about you. I probably ask some question that don't make sense, but to me they do. I don't know if they make sense to you. Because we know the devil is the original, is the beginning, is the one that introduced the sinful to the world. So who made him unclean? Who made him unclean? I'm just going to touch something briefly, then we can get to the text. Here's what I want to touch. Last time, that is foresowing that I share with you guys, and Mario helped me with this one last time. I want to show you. I want to share something that I left off last time a little bit. We're not even going to open that text. You can go and find them in Matthew and Luke, and all three gospels. They're all there except for John. The first sowing, it was on the wayside. The second sowing on the stony side. The third sowing on the thorny, and the last sowing on the good ground. But here's something that I left out last time. I want you guys to think about. Every time the father sowed, he always put up first before he saw anything. He always introduced the calendar first before he does anything. That is something that blew me away when I find that out. Because the first sowing, we know that he sowed in Adam 6 days later, according to what I saw. But before Adam come to existence, he had to set up the system of calendar first before Adam even come first. The calendar had to exist first before Adam can be brought to existence. That is number one. And then when sin came, they messed up the calendar in Babylon with Nimrod. So what the father did, he selected Homerun. He allowed Abraham to keep the calendar in a way that he doesn't know. But when the father wanted to bring the children of Israel to the worship again, then he gave them the calendar again before they even get to the Mount Sinai. That is the stony place, if that makes sense. That is the stony place that he saw again the second time. But before he gave them the law, he introduced the system of the calendar first. That is number two. Number three, that is our Messiah, Yeshua. When he came the third time, we know that in John and Mark, he had a problem with the system of the Jew because at that time, they were keeping the calendar with the sun and the lunar calendar. So Yeshua cannot buy that. So what he did, he tried to establish the calendar first before he can make a covenant with the disciple. You know what amazing thing now that I want to be a part of? That I think the Father that he would allow me to be? The 144,000 in the last day in Revelation chapter 12. They're going to destroy the lunar and the solar system calendar, and they're going to bring the world back into the calendar of light again. Last time, before Revelation chapter 14 comes, when everybody's going to come and worship the Father in the spirit and in the truth. What amazing testimony. Every time, before the Father can ask you to come and worship me, you would introduce the system of worship in the calendar form, because without the calendar, you cannot worship him, period. Impossible. And this is what the Father did to me. That's what he did to me. And I'm thankful for what he has done in my life. I'm thankful for what he has done in my life. Because before I accepted the feast day, he introduced the feast day to me in 2010, in 11, but I rejected them. Because I could not see how the feast day can be kept, when they done away with, when the Messiah took them out of the way, according to my own interpretation. And then he's like, okay, I know that he's not going to see it, so I'm going to get him sick. So he allowed me to be sick. And that was the sickness that made me to open my eye. So, and then I came and look at the week calendar again, and I say, woe is me. I cannot live without the calendar. And I drove an hour and a half to my brother's church so I can share with his family and his friend how beautiful the calendar was. When my sister, Charlene, only gave me one text. That was Matthew chapter 28, just one text. And I could not believe my eyes when I saw that, how the Sabbath would begin in the morning. It was one of the best Sabbath I ever had, because I went to bed and I ironed my clothes at 10 o'clock because at that time I did my laundry, and it was so beautiful. I went to bed with ease and I woke up the next day. Truly, I am in the Sabbath. It's not like I used to rush and try to prostrate myself and try to get everything ready, and the time the sun is going down and I have to squeeze everything in. By the time I get there, I'm mad because I get some of this stuff done. But this one, I went to bed and I slept and I woke up. I was like, wow, it's a Sabbath. It's like a brand new Sabbath that I never had before. And I was like, truly, Father, it's light. And that's when it clicked a little bit. Now, here's what I want to share with you. Now think about the question that I asked you. What is it that made Lucifer unclean? I'm going to ask you another question after that. I want you to think about it, because you guys are familiar with questions, because I've seen Charlene and Tim, they do a good job of that. They would ask like 10 questions in a row and make you think about them, and then you're going to get the answer later on. So I'm going to ask 4 questions in a row, because you guys can handle it. You know, if you would have been another Aryan, maybe I would ask only 1 question at a time. But I'm going to ask 4 because that's what Charlene and Tim does. So I'm not alone. So here is the first question. When Lucifer was unclean, was it his spirit or was it his body? These things may look like they're not important, my brother, my sister. This is why I love the Yahweh Elohim so much. Because the restoration that he do in my life, I could not get it on my own. I could not get it on my own. I had a talk with the people that came to my house. I just had 2, one sister and one brother that came to my house. These 2 months, they joined the group. A sweet young lady, man. Her name is Haley. She saw me preach. And all of a sudden, she came across the video that I put up a little bit, and all of a sudden she cried. She called me and she cried. And I said, did I say anything wrong? She said, everything you said is so powerful. Where are you? I said, I'm in Minnesota. She said, I'm going to come and visit. I said, you don't need to come and visit. You can come and stay if you want. She's like, are you for sure? I said, I'm not for sure. I'm certain. Ask the Father. He will tell you if you think that I'm kidding. And then she prayed, and she was given a dream that she came to Minnesota. And I said, you see, I told you. Don't worry about what you're going to eat. Don't worry about your house, the place you're going to stay. Just come. So to make the long story short, she came. One thing that I see why the Father allowed me to go through the thing that I won't go through, because I would have experienced how to deal with certain people. I had 7 different people in my house that I never met before. And they all come from a different background. They're not the same nationality. Some of them are African, some of them are Black American. You know, some of them they American Caucasian. So it's a different kind of walk. Some of them are the Latino. One guy is from Brazil. And one guy is from Puerto Rico. And here what I call them, because what I saw was, I see a different personality in them that sometimes they irritate such people. So I called them and I said, guys, I'm going to be honest to you guys. I said, if we were in the world, I would not allow any of you guys to be in this house. And they start laughing. And they say, why? I say, because you have a different personality, and you have a different personality, and you have a different personality, but I don't like any of them. But I thank the Father for bringing you guys to my house, so I am the one that benefit a lot. And they say, why you said that? I said, because I got to learn how to treat you, and I got to learn how to treat you, and I got to learn how to treat you. So therefore, I am becoming more blessed than all you guys, because you guys in my house, I have to learn how to treat each and every one of you so I can be a humble person. And I said, I thank the Father because of that. And I said, you know what? Yeah, and I thank the Father because he allowed me to be treated badly by many people in the world, that, and I didn't get upset with them. Yeah. So now I can see, now I can handle how to deal with you guys. And I was so happy about that, because the Father allowed that to happen. He allowed me to go through the thing that he went through, and he took away my children so my ex-wife can take care of them, so he can make a room for these people to come in, so I can take them as my children. It's amazing. It's amazing what the Father is doing. And this little girl that she came here in our house, something happened that I wouldn't go in detail because it's personal, too personal. Then, but what the Father had me did, instead of confronting her about it, what I did was I went and prayed. And then when I went and prayed, the Father allowed something to happen to my car and my other car, because I had two cars. One I gave it to the other guy that came, the one my wife drives. So what happened was, the car that we had, the tap, you put on the car so the car can run, it's at fire. We had to go get a new one so you can drive the car. And then the other car that I had that I gave to the other guy, they went to visit someone, but the tire flat. And this girl had a car, but she would not allow her to touch her car. And I said, it's fine. We cannot touch it. You can keep your car. We don't have to touch it. So what I did was I took the car, the one that had no tap. You can't drive with it. So I took it and I drove it. That's what we do it for 3 days, because it was weekend that day, so we can't go to DMV to get it changed. So we had to drive it for 3 days. We took that risk. And then when we did that, without me asking about the other car, so what happened was the Father opened her eye. And she cried. And she did something that when I woke up and I realized that what she did, I cried too. And I went to her and I gave her a hug, and I couldn't let her go. What happened was, she was given a dream. The Father told her her sin, her personal sin, that I'm not going to go into the thing. But what happened was, the Spirit told her, you need to take $700 and go and give it to the poor on the street. So this young girl went and gave $700. And the only reason why she did it, because she said that the Spirit told her about what she did, that I had to take a risk to drive a car when I couldn't get another ticket, while we have a car sitting on the driveway. So she wanted to do that right by giving $700 away. When I find that out, I was so rejoiced. I gave her a hug. I could not let her go for that, but please stay for a little bit. And we cried together. And I totally see a change out of that girl. And I'm very thankful for that, because I have to witness it. So now, here's what I wanted to share with you guys about the worship. I'm going to pick up worship. I was going to talk about when we come to worship the Father, how are we supposed to come to worship the Father? Because last time I mentioned something that Charlene told me maybe it would be good. I think this one, it would be easy. I just want you guys, you can go and do your own research by yourself. I failed to find something in the Bible that when we come before Yahweh Elohim, our Father, that we can sit down and pray at the same time. I'm not condemning no one. I just want to tell you guys what I find in the Bible. You do your research, and you will see why it would be impossible for any being in heaven to sit down and worship the Father on a seat. It would be impossible. I couldn't see it. It could not happen. Not because the Father hate that. It's just because that is something that in the Father that I'm going to touch today that will not allow you to sit on a chair. You cannot sit on a chair and do that. Impossible. That's what I find. Just go and see. Look at Yeshua. That's only two incidents that I see, two prayers that I see. You can pray standing up. You can pray on your face down, like flat face down, or on your knee. Those three things are in the Bible, everywhere in the Bible. And one thing that I find out that was so amazing, look at the word blessed. The word blessed in Hebrew, which is Barak, or B-A-R-A-K. I think that's how it said it. You click that. You're going to find the second definition. You're going to be shocked. The second definition for Barak is to kneel, is to bow, and to crouch like a dog on your knee, and to fall on your face down. That's amazing. That's amazing. I don't know why the King James didn't really translate it like this. On all the worship happened, they would say, "Blessed be the Father," or "Let bless him," and all these things. They said that. But if you look at the second definition, that's the first definition means blessing. That's no problem. But the second one is to kneel. To kneel down. I will leave that to you guys. So I thought about sharing that, but I realized that, you know what? If I share that without sharing what I'm about to share today, it will not make sense. So I had to share this one first, and maybe you guys can see why it's so important for that. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Let's go to the first question. The first question is, who need worship? Do we need to worship the Father, or do the Father need our worship? That is the first question. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6. 1 Timothy chapter 6. I'm just going to share the restoration why the Father restored me to who I am today. He had to break me down first before he can restore me. I had to go through the breaking first. Then he can restore me to the man that he would want me to be. 1 Timothy chapter 6. 1 Timothy chapter 6. Let me see if I can get to my Bible. First Timothy chapter 6. Verse 16. I'm not gonna pick up verse 15. You can start at verse 14. That's where the contact is. But I'm just gonna go to the point so you guys can see the point a little bit. Here's the question that I asked: who need worship? Is the Father need worship? He need our worship? So if I don't worship him, he's gonna kill me because I didn't come and worship him because he need mine? Or am I the one that need the worship? And if I need the worship, for what purpose do I need the worship for? Now here's the text. Who, I'm not even going to try to the Greek word or anything like that. They just read it as it is. You can go and do your own study and try to find the meaning of the word in the Greek. But I'm just going to read it as it is, and I'm going to show you what I saw. Who only, what does the word only mean? In English, English is your language. Many of you, English is your language. It's not my language. Maybe if I understand it wrong, I would want to see. In me, when I translate the word only into my language, mean the only way. There's no other way around it. That means only one way. You cannot go back, you cannot take right, and you cannot take left. You can only go that way. There's no option. That's what I find out when I click dictionary, mean something unique, and that's it. There's no other thing around it. But look what that only means. The only, what is the next word? Had immortality. That means mortality, immortality. That means eternal life, to live forever. Only one being has it. I want you to know that this is so important, my brother and my sister. That's why you guys, if we understand how important this thing is, no one would say in their lip to say that the feast day is done away with. You can never say that. If you understand this one, that eternal life only belongs to one being, none of us would allow the Sabbath to be broken. You would not allow it. You will see how much the devil rob you every time you don't come before the Sabbath, before the Father. You will see how important it is. I did not know how important the 7-day Sabbath and the feast day is until 4 months ago. And it's only something to do with this word. Only that human, that being that we call Yahweh, he is the only one that has immortality. Even his son Yeshua depends on him. I want you guys to know that. That thing alone is mind-boggling. We want to live forever, right? But I tell you what, eternal life, in order for you to live, in order for you to get it and live forever, there had to be a connection between you and that person. There had to be. I asked you guys a question earlier. What is it that made the devil unclean? He is the only being that has the life that you and I are looking for. So imagine separating yourself from him. There is no other source. It's like a cell phone that you take off from the charge and thinking that by leaving it alone it's going to keep charging. That is so crazy. When I saw the Sabbath, I appreciate the Sabbath. I really love it. And the Father is truly wise. He's truly wise. He's truly wise. I feel bad for the people, man, who think that the feast day are done away with. You do not know what the devil is doing. You do not know. I'm going to try not to cry, man. This thing is I don't even deserve to see it. I really don't. It's a beautiful thing. Look at the next one. Look at the next only. Who dwell in the light that no man, in the Greek means no one, no being, whether you are in heaven or on earth, can see. You cannot come near it and you cannot see it. But here's the problem. We want eternal life from him. And we want to come to him for eternal life. But how are we going to get to him when we couldn't even get to him because the light is so powerful? How? How are you going to get that eternal life? How are you going to get it? The light is so powerful, by you coming close with a look at it, you will be dead. But at the same time, you need to come close to that person so you can partake in eternal life from him. How are you going to put these impossible things together? How are you going to come before him to get eternal life? But he dwells in a light that we can't come to him. No man can see me and live. You cannot see him and live. But at the same time, we need to see him so we can live. He lived in the light, the only light that no one can approach. And you can see it a little bit. None of us can look at the sun directly when the sun is in the full strength. You know that. It would literally blind you. This is why I say that it's impossible. Think about it, guys. All of a sudden, think about it, and all of a sudden you're walking like this. You're walking, and all of a sudden the light, they shine a light on you. What is the immediate thing that everybody do? What would you do right away? I'm going to have to demonstrate it. You would go like this. That's what you would do. Do you see why it's impossible for you to worship God on your throne and look at him? This is the reason why we close our eyes. Because we cannot see him. There is no way you can see the light. That's why every time that John sees an angel, he dropped on his knee. But if John dropped on his knee and covered his eye with an angel, imagine how the Father is. My Yahweh Elohim. If we cannot even endure the light that the Father made, imagine the one that made the light. I'll leave that for you to find it. Who only has immortality dwelling in the light that which no man can approach, whom no man can see, whom no man can see, to whom be honor and power and everlasting. Amen. So he had two things that belong to him alone. The light belonged to him. Eternal immortality belonged to him. These two things. He is the only being under the heaven and the earth who has it. He's the possessor of them. He owned them. So in order for you to get the light, you have to go to him. In order for you to get the eternal life, you have to go to him. But the problem is, the light is something that hinders you to go to him. How are you going to come to him? My brother and my sister, I have a good news for you guys. And for me. This is why the Father created the 7-day Sabbath. And he put himself in the 7-day Sabbath. That's why the Sabbath is holy. Because the Father present is there. So when you come to the Sabbath, you come one-on-one with the Father. So you can charge your spirit. So your spirit cannot be unclean. Mark chapter 2, verse 27. Let's go there. Mark chapter 2, verse 27. We are the Father, my sister. The Father did not create the system of worship because he needed. He created the system of worship because every being under the heaven and the earth, they need that system of worship that they can live. Mark chapter 2, and I got a question for you there. Mark chapter 2, verse 27. Mark chapter 2, verse 27. And he said, that's Yeshua, the Sabbath was made for a man and not man for the Sabbath. I got a question. What benefit do we get in the 7-day Sabbath that was made for a man for? The Sabbath was made for the benefit of man. Man going to benefit from the Sabbath. But are you to think the Father made the Sabbath for himself? Has just a command for him. So if I don't do it, I'm going to die because I broke a law. I did not realize that the Sabbath, he made it, it's mine. He made it for me. It's my benefit. It's for me. There is something in the Sabbath that the Father put there for me. He is immortality and light, and no man can approach, but we still need to partake from him. So how could we get to him? And many of us, we can put our hand up and say, yes, the Sabbath is blessed. But I have a question for all of you guys. What kind of blessing was put in the Sabbath? What kind of blessing? It's just because we're going to rest? It's spiritual and physical, that's it? So what is it that the Sabbath was made for a man for? What kind of blessing that do men get when they come to the Sabbath? Is it the spiritual understanding so we can read the Bible better? Is it because we can be calm? Is it because we can understand the Melchizedek covenant? Or is it because we can rest? Is spiritually or physically, or what kind of blessing the Father put in the Sabbath? When we come to the Sabbath, we can partake in of it. What blessing is that? There's so many texts that I can read, but I'm not going to go through them. Some of them I'm just going to mention. Remember the question that I asked you guys before? What is it that made the devil unclean? What is it? Let's go there. Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28. I cannot bypass this one because this is one of the amazing truths that I thought was so powerful when it comes to the Melchizedek covenant, because this one right here, everybody needs to know. Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28. I'm going to cut off everything else. I'm just going to get to the point about it. Verse number 15. Verse number 15. Ezekiel 28:15. Look what the Bible says. Thou is talking about the devil. Thou was perfect in thy way from the day that were created until iniquity was found in thee. The other question I would like to ask, what is the difference between sin and iniquity? Iniquity, what is it? Or I should ask like this, is iniquity and sin, are they the same thing? Let's go to Isaiah 59. Let me show you what iniquity is and what the sin is. Because this is what was found in this guy. Isaiah 59, verse number 1. I can go deep on this one, but we can just take, for the sake of time, so we can go on this one. Verse number 2. But your iniquities have separated thee between you and your Elohim, and your sin has hid his face from you, that he will not hear you. So the job of iniquity is to separate you from the Father, and then when that separation happens, that separation becomes a sin, so your sin can hinder the Father to help you. But what the iniquity does first, it separates you. It brings the work of separation. So that iniquity that begins with the devil, it is something called in our language today, selfish, self-government, a self-government. You need to be governed by self. You are governed by your own idea, beside Yahweh Elohim idea. That thing is a work in mind and heart. It does not manifest until you commit it into action. So it's beginning to the heart and mind. Nobody can see it, but until it gets brought into an action. So the work of separation, it begins by something called iniquity in the heart. It separates you from the Father. And when that separation comes, now you are dead. Because you got to understand, you are not immortal. If immortality does not belong to you, and you are disconnected with a person who has mortality, guess what your portion is? Death. Do you realize that's why the Father is always upset? Because he realized that when we put another Elohim before him, that word Elohim, we all know, all of you have studied, another power. So when you put another power before Yahweh Elohim, the reason why the Father always gets upset, he's telling you, I don't want you to die. Because you put another power before me, that power do not have immortality. So you and that power are going to die. Why would you want to put him there? Don't pluck yourself in a source that cannot sustain you. It's not the Father just for the sake of a commandment, he's mad about it. No, he's mad because he's about to lose something valuable. You are so precious. You are so valuable. He made you to live forever. But now you do something, you unplug yourself out from the immortality and you plug yourself in the something that's dead. And it breaks his heart because he knew that he knows he's going to lose you. This is why every time that the Father gets upset because we broke a commandment, we put another God before him. It's only because that God you put before him is a God that cannot sustain your life because he does not have immortality. The best example that I can give you guys is like you take an Android, you unplug it out of the Android, and you try to plug it on the iPhone. You know those things doesn't work together. The Father say, I am Android. No, you are Android. I am the charger. I am the source of the power. You need to stay in connection with me in order for you to continue being clean and being alive. You cannot replace me with another being because if you do it, you're going to die. Because you do not have immortality in you. That's why the first commandment, I do believe, is one of the most important commandments of all. Because if you put Yahweh Elohim first, then you're gonna serve him. You're gonna take his name. You're gonna keep the Sabbath. You're gonna honor your father. You cannot break any commandment. But when you put another Elohim first, you're gonna break every one of them. Because the other Elohim, they're gonna take you away from the two Elohim. They're gonna pluck you into themselves. And those Elohim, they are dead Elohim who do not have light in them. That's why the father is always upset. And those of you who have children, you can agree with me. When you see your children to do something you know that they're gonna die, or they're gonna do something you know they're gonna lead into something bad, you don't like it. You get upset. You might whoop them and beat them up. You don't beat them up because you're angry because they just broke a law. No, you beat them up because what they're about to do is something that they're gonna pay the consequence for. And you get upset because you don't want them to go into that place to feel that. That's why Yahweh Elohim always get upset at the children of Israel. Why you do this? Why you tempt me? Why you keep doing this thing when you realize that I'm the only Elohim that can provide everything you have, but you keep on plucking yourself away from me? Why you keep doing that? Now, what the devil did from the beginning to make himself unclean, I don't care what being. I'm only going to put Yeshua there with the Father. I don't want to put him there because he had a different nature. I take it from Gabriel all the way down to us. If you unplug yourself from the Father, you are automatically going to become unclean spirit because you are not holy. You need the Holy Spirit, which is the Father, to keep your spirit holy. Pray the Father. You cannot keep your spirit holy. And I'm going to prove it. Let's go to Revelation chapter 15. Revelation chapter 15. The book of Revelation chapter 15. I'm cutting a lot of text off because I'm looking, the time is running away from us. So Revelation chapter 15. Verse 4. Revelation chapter 15, verse 4. Look at another one. Look at another one. Who shall not fear thee, O the Master of glory, thy name? For thou only art what? Thou what? Only. So holiness belongs to one being. So in order for you and I, for our spirit to be kept holy, so it doesn't get unclean, we need to plug ourselves back to the person that can make it holy. Only the Father alone can do that. So the moment that you plug yourself away from the Father, you automatically become an evil what? A spirit, because the Father is absent within you. So what made the devil unclean spirit is because he unplugged himself away from the Father, the source of holiness. He unplugged himself away from it, thinking that he can make himself holy when he does not have a holiness in him. I don't know if that makes sense. It really doesn't make sense to me. Because you got to understand, the holiness, eternal life, is not given to you. You didn't inherit it. The Father gave it to you as a gift. And you have to continue coming back to get it every time. He did not give it to you that belonged to you like he did to Yeshua. He didn't do that. But to Yeshua, he gave him that belonged to him, and he can walk away from it without the Father. But you and I, we were created to come back and get it from the Father every time. Thou alone, thou art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee. For thy judgment are made manifested. Holiness belongs to one being alone. In order for you and I, for our spirit to be holy, then we need to come before the Father. Now here's another question. For those of you that probably did this study, I got a question for you guys. Look at this. The Father made the tree of life. Let me ask you guys a question. Was the tree of life Was it made for the spirit and the body together, or was it made to preserve only the body? The tree of life in Garden of Eden, was it made to preserve the spirit of Adam and the physical Adam, the body, or was it only made to clean the physical? Genesis chapter 2, verse 2. Let's go there. Genesis chapter. I want you to think about that. Because the Father put a tree of life in the Garden of Eden, where the tree of life was made to preserve the body and keep the body clean and holy forever, so it doesn't die, or was it made for both, to keep the body alive and the spirit? We know that this is the work of the vegetable. When you eat the vegetable, they keep you alive. They clean the disease out of your body. We know that. I can testify to that. I was really sick because of eating. When I changed my diet, it only took 1 week. Everything, all the symptoms that I had went away. Every one of them. The headache, the knee pain, the bowel movement, the heartburn, everything went away within 3 days. Just only because I changed my diet. My sisters and my brother, if you guys saw me when I was sick, you can tell this guy is going to the grave. I thought I was going to die, literally. Because my digestive system just stopped. It just don't want to digest anything. I would eat a food, it would sit in my stomach for 3 days. Don't even want to come out, don't even want to go away. I would have a heartburn like so bad, I had to put something here to hold it. My knee was hurting so bad. I was having a headache. Like sometimes I have to walk like this. And I changed my diet within 3 days. I slept like I never slept before. 1 week later, the headache went away. The joint pain. The digestive system. I become alive again. So you can see the vegetable and fruit, they were made to cleanse our what? Our body. So the tree of life, I can guarantee you, go and do your study. It was made only to keep the body of Adam clean, never the spirit. Never. It can never give the spirit life. The tree of life, go and do your research. It was made to preserve the body. That's why Revelation chapter 22 say the tree of life was made for the healing of what? Nation. The leaf for the healing of the nation. Even though when I change my diet, those food that I eat, they did not give my spirit life. They only give my body life. Now that's when the spirit come in. Look at this. Genesis chapter 2 verse 2. Genesis chapter 2 verse 2. Hey, how much time do I have? What time did we...
I don't think there's a limit on the time, Ochan. I think if people just start leaving the room, I'm okay. If anybody, is ready to go, they can just leave the meeting. But you have at least what? I don't know.
I will try to get it short then. So I just want to know, because I don't want it to go over, so I can cut some of the thing off. So I'm going to try to make it short. But I cannot make it short without getting to the meat. This is the beautiful thing. The Sabbath, you guys are going to see how beautiful it is for me. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's beautiful. I hope this thing enjoyable for you all. Somebody try to say something?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think you can get to the meat in about a half hour or so? The reason that I'm asking is there are some they're ahead of us in Australia, and their Sabbath starts at 11 o'clock their time.
Okay, I get it. I try to shoot for that.
But if you go over, you go over.
Yeah, let me shoot for that and let's see what happens.
Okay. No worries.
I'm going to shoot for a half hour. Let's see what happens. Okay.
No worries.
All right. Genesis chapter 2. Genesis, this is the meat, my brother, my sister. This is when it gets better. I just show you guys that go and do your research. The tree of life, it was not, the Father didn't make it to preserve the spirit. It was for the body. And you're going to see why in a little bit. Even if I'm not going to touch it, you're going to see, I'm going to touch the spirit. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, look at the spirit. Look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 2. On the seventh day, Elohim ended his work, which he had made. Now look at this. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. Now here's the point. He blessed it. So the Father put a blessing in the Sabbath. I told you guys before, click that word blessing and you tell me what it is. The second definition of the word blessing means to kneel, to worship, to bow down on your head. I thought that was amazing for me. But here's the best part. Here's the one. And sanctified it. I want you guys to click that word, number 6942. Can anybody tell me what that means? Please tell me. I don't want to tell you. The word sanctified. What did that word mean in Hebrew? Can somebody give me the first definition? For those of you that have a concordance before you. Or the second definition. Or the third. If you go, look at what does the first word mean? To sanctify, we know that one. To be hallowed, to be holy, to dedicate, to holy, to prepare. So why would, the question, how is it that the Father made the Sabbath holy? What did he put inside the Sabbath? How could you make a day, one day holy? What did you do with that day? What did you put on that day to make that day holy?
Set apart.
But even the Father set apart a day, he said that let that day be set apart. What is it that he put inside? Let me ask you guys one thing. When the Father came to the earth, to the mount, we know that it was Yeshua that came, for those of you that understand the Bible, when he came on the mountain, right, the burning bush, that bush that was burning before Yeshua came there, or Yahweh came there, was it a holy place? The burning bush that was right there when Moses came before the Father came there, before Yeshua came there to burn that burning bush. Was that burning bush holy? So what is it that made that burning bush holy?
Presence.
Okay, let me ask you. After the Father left, was it holy? No. So I tell you what. On the seventh day Sabbath, the Father never left the Sabbath. He was always there. Praise the Father. So the Father put himself in the 7-day Sabbath, and he's always there. So when you come to worship him before on the Sabbath day, you are connecting yourself back to him, so your spirit can be sanctified, so you don't become an unclean spirit like a devil. Praise Yahweh Elohim. Praise Yahweh Elohim, man. So,
Sean, can I say something? I can't hold it back anymore.
amen.
I have experienced the exact same thing. I have said this over and over to my friends and my sisters and my brothers. He opens the portals. It's like he is there. I feel him more on the Sabbath than any other day. What you're saying is true. I just want to say that. I was getting so excited.
All I can say is amen. All I can say, it didn't even get better yet. Just wait. I got a couple more times. Just wait. I really love this. And sister and brother, now we smiling, right? But I tell you what, he had to take the Father for this smile to come to me, to let me go through what I went through. That's why I don't want you to miss it. I had to go through what I went through in order for me to be smiling before you guys so I can share this with you guys. I had to go through that. I had to be broken. You know why? That's what Yeshua said. You need to fall on this rock so you can be breaking in pieces. That's why I love it. I love it that I had to go through that so I can share this smile with you guys. I love it. I have to go through what I went through in order to share what I am sharing right now. This frustration right now that I'm sharing with you guys could not happen any other way unless I am broken in pieces, like what Yeshua was saying. Now, the 7-day Sabbath, that's why the Father said that he sanctified it, he put it apart, he sanctified it. Now here, go and do your study and see how many times the word sanctify come out of the Bible, and go and find out. You're going to be amazed. You're going to see that the Sabbath was put aside for the Father to put himself there. It's like a day, if I can say it like this in a worldly way, it's like a day you put aside to go to a date with your wife or husband. So the Father put himself in that day. That's why he made the 7-day Sabbath for us to come before him and cease from all our work. Because you know what? You only have 1 day a week for your spirit to be clean. Man, you know the person that really made the cycle of watch? I think you know about the Sabbath. You know, you put the clothes in there. Somehow, somebody think that, you know what, in order for clothes to be washed and to be clean, they need to go through a cycle. Do you see what the Father did? Even in heaven, without sin, we still need our spirit to be cleansed. They still need to be cleansed once a week. And then they're going to be cleansed 7 times a year with a feast, yearly feast. So the Father put this in there for us, for our spirit to be clean. So for both of us who would go out and do something on the Sabbath, you are robbing your spirit. We can pray to the Father any day, but I tell you what, you can only come before the Father for the cleansing of the spirit on the 7-day Sabbath. Cannot do it on a weekday. And I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna prove it. Let's go to Exodus 31, verse 13. Exodus 31, verse 13. The book of Exodus 31, verse 13. Speak thou unto the children of Israel and say, verily my Sabbath. This is one of the texts sometimes that I give to my brethren. You know, I challenge them. I had something that I did about a year ago. One guy tried to corner me out and say that, you know what, the feast day are done away with, and you know, we can only keep the Sabbath. And I say, my brother, I have one question for you. And he said, what? And I said, give me a text that we are commanded only to keep one Sabbath. Just one Bible verse in the Bible that the Bible says that only the 7-day Sabbath alone is given for the sanctification. And my brother couldn't give it to me. You know, so I picked this text for a reason. I could pick another text, but I picked this text for a reason. This is the reason why I pick it. Look at the verse. Speak thou unto the children of Israel and say, verily my Sabbath you shall keep. Look at this, look at this. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generation, that you may know that I am Yahweh that sanctify you. So you may know I am the only source of holiness that can keep you holy. You cannot pluck yourself out of me and be holy. So therefore, I made the Sabbath for you and me. I made it for man, so man can come before me, so they can get sanctification. So they can be holy. He put the Sabbath there, and he put himself in the Sabbath. He never left, and he will never leave. Because if he left the Sabbath, then we would be left with no channel. So what I can say, you are on a phone, and I'm gonna have a demonstrator. I demonstrated on my on the people that I shared with one time, and one lady broke out and she cried. And here's what I did. You are the phone. Okay? The battery, that's your spirit. The phone, that's your body. Now look what the Father does. Yeshua, the Sabbath, right here, is the cord. So the power source on the wall is the Father. So when you take the Sabbath, you plug yourself into, it's connecting you back with the Father. So now what the Father does is come to you. That's why the devil hates the Sabbath. That's why the devil told the Muslim worship on the 6th day. That's why the devil told the Christian worship on the 1st day. That's why the devil told Buddhists, go worship. The devil hates the Sabbath because the Sabbath will connect you back to the Father, and then you can have the holy, clean spirit. Because the Sabbath was made for the sanctity of the spirit, not for the body. The body is sanctified by the tree of life. You eat the tree of life, it will preserve your body. But you still need the cleansing from to the spirit, so you come to the Father for the cleansing of the spirit, and you can only get it 1 day a week. So how important is the feast day? If they can only know. If they can only know. If they can only know. The feast day was made for you so you can get the spiritual cleansing. If the people can only know that. You think they would say that the feast day is done away with? So, when I find out this is the reason why the Father created the 7-day Sabbath, you know what I did? I took it seriously. I did took it seriously. So I don't want any devil or any selfish or any self-life to rob me from the blessing that I want to get before my Yahweh. So I get up early in the morning in my house. We made it a law. We do not kindle a fire or anything in the house until the next day. So what we did was we made the Sabbath to be a day that we can only eat fruit and vegetable. So we do not go to the kitchen to do anything. And we stay before the Father from the morning until the sun go down to worship him. And we don't eat until the sun come up, sun go down. And it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. I'm not telling you to do the same. I'm just telling you the benefit that I get from it. So the Sabbath was made for the cleansing and continual cleaning the spirit. That's why it's a cycle. We coming back to charge the phone. We are like, the body is like a phone. The battery is like a spirit. And the cord is like a Sabbath. And the power source on the wall is the Father. As long as you keep connecting like this, you will never run out of battery. Ezekiel chapter 20. Let's get there again. Ezekiel chapter 20. This is what made the devil unclean my brother and my sister. There is no way you can be a clean spirit without connecting back to the Father of source of life, who had only immortality and holiness. You cannot be. So when the Father created the 7-day Sabbath, he created for you and I to clean our spirit the same way the tree of life does the cleansing on the body. So the Sabbath was made for you and I to come before the Father to sanctify us. That's why we're going to keep the Sabbath in heaven too. Because the cleansing, the holiness, and immortality does not belong to you. You always have to come back and get it. The same way I can wash my shirt. This one is, I just washed it a day ago. But I tell you what, it's not even going to be 4 days before I wash it. I got to wash it again. That is the same thing. We come out, we go do our thing, and the world contaminates us. We come back, and rejuvenate again. And then we start again. We go to the well again. We get contaminated. We come back. We filter it out again. That is how it is. We keep going doing that. As long as you do that, you can never have the bad spirit. As long as you keep the Sabbath according to what the Father wants you to keep it for your benefit, never for the Father. The 7-day Sabbath do not benefit the Father, not even a bit. It's all for you. Because that's how the Father gave himself to you, because he dwells in the light you cannot come with. So he find a solution. He put himself in the Sabbath. So now you can approach the Sabbath and come in the Sabbath, and you can find him there without coming into a direct contact with the light. Pray the Father. Because if we would have come before the Father with his whole light, we would have ceased to exist. Therefore, he come up with a way to come before him without us being consumed. And at the same time, get the full blessing without being dead. Because if you would have come before him without the Sabbath, that was the last time you lived. But he put the Sabbath there, and he put himself in there in the Sabbath, that when you come to the Sabbath, you still get the full Yahweh Elohim in the Sabbath, but he veiled himself in there, and you can get the benefit, and you can eat in there all you want spiritually, and fill your spirit without being consumed. Ezekiel chapter 20. Verse number 12. Ezekiel chapter 20, verse number 12. Moreover, I give them my Sabbath, plural, which is the feast day, to be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am Yahweh that sanctified them. This every time go to the Sabbath and click it, most of the time, you're always going to find out the Sabbath is always ended with sanctified. We're sanctified. It's going to be a sign that you will know I am the one that keep you clean. You will know I am the one that keep you clean. You will know I am the one that keep you clean. This is the thing that the Father tried to repeat all over again. You cannot get cleansing without the Sabbath. I am the one that can only keep you clean. You can never clean yourself. You can get cleansing any other place. And the Sabbath was not made to cleanse the body. You do not get any body physical cleansing in the Sabbath. You don't. You get a spiritual cleansing. The tree of life for the physical cleansing. The Sabbath for the spiritual cleansing. Together, you are immortal. You cannot die. Because when the plant tried to get weak, the tree rejuvenated again. And you're alive. And your spirit tried to get weak and wicked. The Father rejuvenated again. Now you are immortal. You cannot die now. Why? Because you get the true substance that you needed for your spirit and for your body. Pray the Father, man. So how beautiful is the Sabbath? So is it done away with? That means the Sabbath is done away with. You are done away with too. That is many things that is one of the crazy things that people don't know. For Sabbath to be done away, you're saying I need to be done away too. That's why Yeshua, when he was on the earth, he cannot miss the feast day, because now you have a different nature, which is humanity that need to come back before him, before Yeshua, before the Father. He could not miss any feast day. That's why he could not keep them any other way, because he would have kept them the other way, he would have not seen. That's why he had to keep Yahweh and him, his Father, covenant, and keep the covenant calendar. And teach the disciple to keep it. Because without it, you cannot be clean. You cannot be clean. So there's two things that I want to leave with you guys. The first one, you need to know the right calendar in order for you to get the actual cleansing. Because if you don't know the right calendar, you're going to come before the Father on the wrong time too. You see the problem? You see why the devil You see why the devil focused on the feast day a lot and the Sabbath? And deceive those people who We even know the Sabbath, and he said, oh, no, you know what? Yeah, now the Sabbath begin in the evening now. You know that because when you begin in the evening, so you're adding something to the Sabbath, so you're not getting the full cleansing. So the number one important thing that I would want everybody to understand and leave you guys with, how important the calendar is. Man, if people know how important it is. What good is going to do to you if you know the Sabbath, you know the feast day, but you do not know when did the 14th day come? What good is it? That's why I thank the Father for the restoration that He's doing in my life. I made it a goal as long as I have the breath in me. I'm going to preach it. I'm going to live it. I don't care if the world don't like it. I told my father 3 days ago when I had this text, I told the Father, you know what? If my children had to suffer like this guy just say they are suffering, they're struggling, let them be. I'm not turning back. If the whole world turned against me because of this thing, yeah, I'm not turning back. I made it my life. I made it my choice because I see how beautiful this thing is. That's why from day number one, the Father had to create a calendar. He did not bring the system of worship until the very last day. Why? Because he knew that the calendar, a day of worship without a calendar, is absolutely nothing. That's why the work of the 144,000, they're going to bring the calendar back into the right calendar so the Father can be worshipped in the spirit and in the truth. My brothers, so what would you choose? Be healthy, be rich and lost, or be poor and be treated miserably and have eternal life? I choose, if whatever it takes, let it be. I want eternal life. I don't care what I take from here. That's what I made. It might look like it's arrogant, but it's not. I truly mean it. But you know what? I put my hand up and say, Father, help me. But I choose to preach these things, even though I get kicked out of all these churches, I still go back. I remember one time that I went to the church. That's when I didn't realize that they sent the email to all the churches in Minnesota. And all of a sudden, I see people gathering around me. I thought they would come to listen to me. I did not realize they were spies to see who I'm going to talk to. And then a couple of minutes later, the pastor took me down and he took me down and he said, Ochan, yeah, I heard that you're preaching that we need to keep the Sabbath, the feast day. If nobody don't keep the feast day, they're going to die. I said, yes, that's true. He took me down there. I cannot believe it. Before the pastor going to go and preach, you're going to cuss me off and say bad word to me and get mad in your office, and all of a sudden you're going to come and preach. I was sitting there like this. I said, how are you going to preach? Do you not know what you just did to me? How are you going to preach that they love each other when you just call me names and tell me you don't want to see my face again? This is what happened to me, and all these things that happened to me because when I became a feast keeper. That's when my ex-wife turned on me. I'm going to give you guys one last tack, and then we'll close. I'm going to cut all the rest of them out. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse number 13. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse number 13. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse number 14. All right, here's what the word of God said, what the Yahweh Elohim said. Let us hear the whole conclusion. This is my whole conclusion that I want to give to you guys. I cut a lot of text off that I was going to share. Here's what it said. Let us hear all the conclusion. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep his commandment. For this is the whole duty of man. This is the reason why the Father created the command. The Father created the 7-day Sabbath and his commandment, because this is what's going to keep you alive. He gave us the commandment to keep us alive. That's why the word for the commandment, if you look at the word for the commandment, it's to guard. No wonder when Adam was told to guard the garden, because the garden represents the commandment, because if Adam would have guarded the garden and keep it, the garden would keep him. For those of us today, we will not keep your garden, which is the 10 commandments, the commandment of Yahweh Elohim and his statutes. You are letting the garden go away like Adam, and you're going to lose the garden, and you're going to lose your life, and you're going to be kicked out, and you're going to die. I hope we learn from Adam, who fled to guard his garden. The word garden means to keep, to guard. That's why the commandment was given to guard you, to keep you alive. If you're going to let the devil deceive you and think of you that you can pluck yourself away and pluck yourself to someone else, you're going to die like Adam. So, what I will leave you with, we need is cleansing 2 times. We need the spirit cleansing, and we need the body healing. The tree of life do the body. The 7-day Sabbath do the spirit and the feast day. That's what I want to leave with you guys. And the last text that you guys can read by yourself is Isaiah 66. From month to month, from Sabbath to Sabbath. Why is it the Father would say from month to month? We come from month to month to eat from the tree of life so we can get the healing. We come from Sabbath to Sabbath so we can get the spiritual healing. So even in heaven, we still need these 2 things. Pray to Yahweh Elohim. So I'm going to stop right here, and I hope that it's been encouraging to you guys. It really does encourage me, and I can take the question or the answer or encouragement or the comment. So I will leave it to that. So thank you for listening. I hope that I didn't really throw you off. So.
Thank you, Ochan, for coming, because I was really blessed, and I just really want to thank you for accepting this invitation tonight, and we'll just leave it open for any comments. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for sharing. Indeed, yeah, there's a lot of different levels that we can see the same thing at, and you a drosh or a sewed deeper level. So I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Amen, my brother. Amen.
I see Danon has his hand raised.
All right. Hey, thank you so very much. I can so identify with your enthusiasm on the Sabbath and what it means to you and the sealing that it gives us. You know, that sign, that flag, that end sign. And just thank you so much. You just kindled something that it's been in me ever since I accepted the 7th-day Sabbath, that 76. But now we're living in the hour that the Sabbath has been so amplified with the feast days. And the light is just progressing. Thank you so very much.
Pray be to Yah, brother. Pray be to Yahweh.
You know, I think also, Ochan, that you mentioned something that maybe you could even elaborate on, that what to do on the Shabbat. And it was clear that part of what to do on the Shabbat is to be on your knees, and that's how you worship.
Amen.
On your knees. And so if there are those that have, and I get the question all the time, how do you do the Shabbat? Is there a certain way of doing the Shabbat? And I think that would be like number one portion of the Shabbat. We do have a Shabbat fellowship each week. That's the fellowship portion of Shabbat. Just to brother and to get a word of encouragement, or to give a word of encouragement, or to share a personal testimony, but being on your knees in prayer on Shabbat is super key. I think if you want genuine, if you want to go to that portal that Stacy was talking about, that seems to be more open, wider on the Shabbat. And I do think that the portal is wider on the Shabbat. So thank you for sharing that. I don't know if anybody else would like to elaborate more on that, but that was a really good, very good.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate your message, your passion, your time and research, and what you've done. I was really blessed by just about everything you said, especially how we're going to know when the 14th day is. We're going to miss him, man. We're going to miss him. We got to know when it is. That was hit the hammer, countersunk that nail, brother. Thank you.
Pray be to y'all. Pray be to y'all.
Thank you very much, Ochan. I was very, very, very blessed. Very blessed. I really appreciate your message. Big time. Huge. I need to hear it. You brought a lot of clarity to some things for me too. And I hope that you'll come back and consider joining us again sometime. I really hope so. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother. Good to see you again, man. You know, I've been trying to talk to you, man. I really wanted to talk to you sometime, but I realized that you are really busy. So, you know.
Well, we might get together sooner than you think. Another feast is coming. Passover.
Hey, I got that message. I got that text that you guys sent with Dan. So I'm thinking about it. So that would be nice if you guys can come down here in Minnesota for Passover, or maybe we can do it in Zoom too. That'd be great. So I think I will leave that open. I'm going to talk to Dan and talk to everybody, Charlene. So I saw that one. I would try to see if we can keep the Passover open for you guys. I would really want to hear you guys too. So it would be nice, personal, to see you in person. That'd be really nice. But maybe it's not happening. You can do it in Zoom.
Come to Oregon too. Hey, one other mentioning a constructive criticism. That last verse that you use in Ecclesiastes, to listen to the whole matter before you begin to question it. I think it would be good to use it at the beginning and at the end. So, but if you could add it to the beginning, that might be because there were some places that I'm like, well, okay, where's he going with this? But
yeah,
waited and again, thank you for that.
Yeah, I just try my best, man. Sorry that if something didn't make sense, but I try my best to be clear as possible it can be. So.
Ochan, I put my phone number in the chat for you. If you ever feel like giving me a call, I would love to sit back and talk with you. Your experience in entering into the Sabbath just turns me on, man. I could totally identify with you. The Sabbath day is like no other day of the week. My first Sabbath day was unbelievable. So if you feel like calling me and you live in the United States, there it is. It's in the chat.
Are you Daniel Taylor?
I am Danon, man.
Who?
I am Danon. Yes. I'm your new brother.
Yeah, I know you are, but I just want to see if I can. What number is that?
What was that?
You said that you put your number there. Yes, I would love to have it. What number is that? I see two numbers here.
Right there, it's right in the chat. When you go into the chat, it's the last one down at the bottom, 707-498-6896. If you're in the United States, if you're in the United States, give me a shout, man. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love the fellowship.
By the grace of Yahweh, you will hear me. by Yahweh grace.
Hey, while Ochan's doing that, I just wanted to make mention, because you did ask the question about who made Lucifer unclean. And you had kind of talked about, I think before that Yahuwah is light. and we need to come into his presence, and you know what it means to come into that light. But Lucifer was the name means illuminated one. And I'm just wondering if Lucifer thought he had enough light of his own. He didn't need to enter into his creator's light. You know, you talked about selfishness, but you know, how did this all start in him? You know, where iniquity was found in him. And I don't know, I'm just kind of wondering if Lucifer just thought his light was good enough and it was just as good as Elohim's. Yeah, I'd like to hear some comments about that from others. Are you?
Yeah, I left that on the side for a little bit because I know that I asked that question to bring something in mind, because you got to understand, the Bible says that Lucifer was made perfect until. So what is it that made him to separate himself from God? It's exactly what you say. Is what you call, because under heaven and the earth, the Father created a system that he is the only governor. He's going to be the only king. You cannot govern yourself. You cannot walk away from any govern rule and live. So Lucifer thought in himself, okay, because I have the light, I have power, yeah. You know what? Yeah. Maybe I can govern my own self, and I don't need to come to the Father, and it still can be like a father. So it started with self, that he thought in himself that he's better, and that's the deception each and every one of us have today. We think, oh, you know what? I'm good. I can do this by myself, and then you find out later on you cannot do this by yourself. If people realize that the Father alone is the one that had immortality, he's the one that has light, and he's the one that has holiness. These three things, we need them. Like we need these three, like you cannot live without them. But Lucifer thought, you know what? Yeah, I am good on myself. I am good on my own government. I can govern my own self. I do not need to come back to the Father. That is the beginning, and that's what you call iniquity, that beginning within his heart. That self-government attitude. He replaced Yahweh with himself. Where Yahweh is, he put himself there. And because of that, it separated him from the Father. Now he's wicked. Now he's dark. Now he's dead. Because of all these things, he cannot be holy anymore. That's why you see the spirit of the devil when he manifested through those people that listen to him. He is so wicked, like so bad, everything that he thinks he want to do to you. Because he didn't want to plug himself back to the source that can make him holy. It began with this mindset of self-government, that I can govern my own self and still be like a father. And the Father made it clear, you cannot put another Elohim before me and live. You cannot do it. That's no impossible. You cannot replace him and live, because I am the only one that is the source. I am the one that's the source. I don't know what to say. I am the source, no other source. You cannot unplug yourself from me and live. Lucifer thought he can do it and live. That I can preach on that one too. Really, when the Father, that is another topic that I really like. So that's why self-government, selfish is. You cannot be a selfish person and live. You cannot go to heaven. It's impossible. That's why self had to come out. That's why the Father allowed me to do it. That's why I had to go through the thing that I go through, so self can die. Self can die.
That's good.
So,
Yeah,
so that kind of answers. Yeah, that kind of answered the question. Is this a salvational issue? Because we hear that all the time, you know, with the feasts or with the calendar. Is that a salvational issue? It's like, I think you really answered it tonight. You know, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I agree. Isaiah 14:12 explains, you know, Lucifer's heart.
Amen.
Today he's going to rise up. It says, for you have said in your heart, let me go up to the Shamayim. Let me raise my throne above the stars of Elohim, and let me sit on the mount of meeting at the sides of. He just avowed, you know, the authority. And that's the problem we have. We just avowed it. We have to get clean. We have to go back. I love what you said, like we're in the world 6 days. Where are we going to go get refreshed? We need to go to the body. Messiah on the Sabbath. We have to. That was awesome, brother. I thank you for your message again. Go ahead, April.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, Ochan, I wanted to thank you because I have not, until tonight, come to an answer to my question that has been since I was a little child, and that is, where is my blessed assurance? I've never had blessed assurance. Everybody talks about it. I ask them, I probe, I don't understand it. But tonight, when you talked about the Sabbath, when you talked about the feast days, when we come in for a cleansing, when we bow our ideas and our authority over our own self, when we bow our whole being and all of our will, then we come into that blessed assurance. And I tell you, I have not found a better answer than you gave tonight. I am so blessed. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Pray be to Yahweh. Pray be to Yahweh. Yeah, it really, you know what, every time I hear this, you're not the first person. One time that I preached at a meeting we went through, a girl just got up and she just kissed me and she started crying. And she's like, I always ask, what kind of blessing on the Sabbath? What kind of blessing do I get when I come to the Sabbath? And people will tell me, oh, the blessing of rest, oh, the blessing of happiness, oh, the blessing of these things. She said, the thing that you said today, it showed me clearly we truly are blessed when we come before the Father. And because of that, every time I hear something like that, you guys do not know what it does to me. And the reason why I said that, I'm going to be careful how I said it, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm arrogant about it. Every time I hear something like that, it reminds me of the brokenness that I went through to get this. And every time I hear that, I always say it's worth it. It's always worth it. If it can make somebody like this cry like this and see the fire, yeah, it's worth it for me to go through what I went through.
Die in the flesh. That's where we battle.
Amen. If I have to die to the flesh the way the Father designed it for my ex-wife, so people like you guys can be blessed and somebody can cry before me like that, it's worth it. It really does worth it. So it made me forget how bad I went through, how bad I was treated by all my friends, my family, my ex-wife, my children, my community. It made me forget that. Every time I hear somebody like how my mom, I should call you my mom, just said that. Huh?
Amen.
You know,
We have Carol Disher hand is up, and I see another hand up. It says Galaxy S9.
Dr. Woods.
Yeah, I think your hand was up first, actually.
Yes. I want to say to the man of God that he was chosen to suffer what he suffered, and there's a greater reigning that's coming. God is getting ready to expand the borders of this organization. I see a great move of God that's coming, and it's going to be an enlargement. But the Lord spoke and said, I'm coming into this. I used to be, when I was younger, a Sabbath worshiper. I sort of grew away, but I have Jewish inheritance. But I really feel the Spirit of the Lord, Yahuwah said tonight, that he was chosen to suffer, to go through some things that he is going through, to bring the purification of who Yahushua is. And there's going to be a mighty breakthrough with this organization. You're going to see many people are going to begin to come. Some great things are going to begin to happen in this establishment. I spoke to Charlene one time, and I said, I really want to come back. I feel a burning in my spirit. I have a group that's called Warrior Bride International, and it's about 5,000 people. And I need to connect so that we can bring everybody into the truth.
Amen.
That's why
Pray.
He's going to encourage you. He's going to lift your spirit. And man of God, some of the suffering that you did, the Lord said to tell you that you was chosen to suffer. And you're going to teach others how to suffer for Yahosha, the supper for the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Glory be to him.
Amen.
Thank you for your
Crucifying of the flesh, meaning the dying out of the flesh. You all are called to die out of the flesh. And there's a greater reward that's coming. The Lord said a greater reward is coming. So be encouraged, every last one of you. Be encouraged tonight, because you're going to see a awakening and a shaking. The people are on their way.
Praise Yahuwah. I just want to make a note. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that word of encouragement. Just wanted to put this out there. We prefer, if you would, in the chat that you don't use links and we don't promote other ministries, but instead you put in your phone number and you make connections with other people. And then that way we don't have people taking someone's email and or links to some other channels or ministries without permission, or even just putting it in the chat. So we want to put the phone numbers in there, make connections, call each other, get to know each other first, and then share your email, then share, and invite maybe Ochan to minister at your group, or Charlene, or whatever. Do it that way, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to break up what Yah's brought together as a group and have them go into a bunch of other groups and then we never see anybody anymore. And so oftentimes Torah to the Tribes has been used as an advertising platform to promote someone else's ministry. So just to protect those that have come into it, I want to ask you you can still do it, still, meet and mingle and, share teachings and things like that. But if you'll start with the phone number, get to know a person first before you get to a place of wishing, like, boy, I wish they didn't have my email. You know what I mean? I'm sure some of you have already experienced that. You end up with, 30 emails a day from one person. I can't get through any of the rest of them. But so I think it was Carol that had her hand up, and then Carolyn, and then Stacy, and then I can't see on the other page. And then I think that's the order. If we could, Carol.
Oh, Sean, I just want to thank you from Loganville, Georgia, and up in the mountains and such as Georgia. We're listening to you, and we are blessed. And it is late here, but I just could not turn it off. And I just want to tell you, brother, I have suffered with you through my life as well. And I just want to praise the Lord for the blessing of this meeting tonight, and the encouragement that I received to know that the Father is waiting for me in the morning, and He is going to be there for me in the morning. And I tell you, it is the sum of the whole matter, brother. And Revelation 8:18, the earth will be lightened with His glory. And it's starting. The latter rain is starting to fall. It started to fall in 1888, but the church leaders would not allow it to happen, and Satan would not allow it to happen when he wanted worship in heaven and when he wanted people to do it their own way. And that is Isaiah 4:1 to the bottom, 7 women. We are at that time. Babylon is all over, and Babylon is basically, we can do it on our own. We can wear our own clothes, we can eat our own doctrine, whatever we want to eat, whatever we want to believe, we can do it ourselves. And God is showing that the meek is going to be the ones that inherit the earth, and they're going to be the ones that are teachable, and there's some that just aren't. And we just have to shake our feet off and move on. And the people that really want to know the truth will learn, and it will be the meek that want to spend time with Yahuwah. And I just want to thank you so much for the testimony. I was blessed.
Amen to that. Many that, my sister. Nice to know you guys, even though some of you, I wouldn't meet you in person, but pray be to the Father. So if it is encouragement, you do not know how much encouragement it does to me every time I hear somebody say that they bless. It makes me forget about the thing that I go through. So
glad you're blessed. Praise God. And then I think it was it Carolyn and then Stacy? Was that right? Yeah.
Thank you for tonight, and I'm so blessed. And I was blessed when I heard your message Charlene shared with me. I got to hear you when I wasn't able to be there. And so thank you for what you showed us tonight. But I have to tell you, I think I've had a miracle. I've been really hurt for 3 weeks. And tonight I don't have any pain.
Yahuwah. Thank you.
Praise the Lord.
Amen.
I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I'm not hurting at all. And I've had severe pain for 3 weeks, and it started at my waist and went down my right leg. It went across my muscle and down into my knee, and I went to the chiropractor 4 times, and I got down on my knees and I showed him, it's not my knee. My knee doesn't hurt. It's the muscle around my knee. And I got up this morning and I thought, oh my, I think I'm going to have to go back to that chiropractor. I had an appointment Tuesday, but I'm sitting here and I feel no pain. Hallelujah. I'm so blessed, and thank you all. You all are my family.
Glory to God. Hallelujah.
I can't wait to tell my husband. He doesn't know. Anyway, thank you, Ocean. I appreciate the message. I was so blessed.
We keep you in our prayer. I will ask the people, the congregation that we worship together to pray for you too. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
The enemy comes to steal and kill right away. So let's just put a hedge of protection around about the stealing and the word that's gone out so far.
Amen.
Let's not wait.
Hallelujah.
Not wait. Our Father, we do thank you and we praise you, for it is you that teaches us. It is you that has drawn us. It is you that has healed us. It is you that has done these miraculous works and deeds in the lives of your people. And right now, Father, we just declare a hedge of protection around the word that's been planted, around the ruach that's been uplifted, around our physical bodies, Father, in the name of Yahusha, our Melchizedek, our high priest, our Kohen Hagadol, our all in all. We give you the praise. We thank you, Father, for that protection. We thank you and we praise you. For Hashem Melchizedek Yahusha, our Mashiach, we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. We have a Stacy and then Danon and then any other hands raised? Stacy, Danon?
Yeah, just real quick. Ochan, the 2 times that I've heard you, I have such a stirring in my spirit, and I know it's not you. I just want you to know he's using you in a mighty way. And I agree with what the other lady said, the Galaxy lady. Your suffering is for a purpose, and you're reaping the benefits now. But what I feel in my spirit when I hear your testimony, it's not about you as a person. It stirs my spirit up. It refreshes me. It energizes me. And that's why it's hard to be quiet. It's hard to not just, praise and move. But I'm sure you've read this scripture many, many times, but when you were talking about your children, I can't imagine as a mother not having my children and having my children be turned against me of no fault of my own. And so when you were talking about that, this scripture came to mind, and I just want to read it to you so you can receive it. Everyone that has forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. Yes. That's for you, brother. We love you. Thank you so much.
Amen to that. Thank you for that scripture. That's the first time I read that scripture, when I went through it, I was like, did Yeshua truly say this for me? So I'm reaping it right now. I tell the congregation that are with me right now, because most of them, they stay in my house. And some of them, they are my children. So I got the children now. I didn't get birth with. I got the mother, because one of them is an elderly lady. And I get a wife, by the way. I got married again, so I have a wife right now that truly the father. So everything that I lost, I got him back. I really did. So thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Stacy. Dana, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of add on to, this Sabbath thing really just juvenates me. And you brought things to my attention that, I've gotten just a little lukewarm sometimes. And going to this definition, when you were in Genesis 2, and it says, and Yahuwah blessed the seventh day, and you amplified a little bit on the word blessed, which is the Hebrew number 1288, a primitive root to kneel, by implication to bless Yahuwah as an act of adoration.
Amen.
And I just love that. And to remind myself that tomorrow morning, when I get up, as I enter into that place, to get on my knees and stay there and receive that blessing. And it takes me to when Yahusha was talking to the Sanhedrin, and he said, the only sign I am going to give you is as Jonah was in the belly of the whale 3 days and 3 nights. That sign we know was the 3 days and 3 nights, and I'm not going to get into that. But the Sabbath was the sign. He rose on the Sabbath day. And I just love all the definitions and everything that's in the scriptures concerning the Sabbath, because it is our sealing. It's our sealing. And if we don't enter into that rest, well, you know the end of the story. So I just thank you for bringing that back to my attention. You rock, man. Your force and the ability of your voice when you preach, it pulls out that Pentecostalism in me, and I just want to get up there and shout hallelujah with you. So I just praise the Heavenly Father for you, and I love listening to these type of testimonies because I need to hear it. I need to be reminded, and that's why we need fellowship so much. So thank you again, and back to you, Mario.
Well, praise.
Man, I love you, man. Thank you.
Praise Yahuwah.
Yeah.
That just kind of confirms here a little, there a little, until the full light of day.
Mm-hmm.
We need each other, and we need to hear from each other, and we need to respect each other, because we're one body in Messiah. And I thank Abba for each and every one of you. And do we have any other questions or comments? And if not, we'll go ahead and... Yes, Daniel.
Hello, Ochan, my brother. How are you?
Hey, you here?
Yeah.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. How you been?
Good.
Amen.
I just want to say we've been blessed to. We're pretty close to Ochan. I live just a couple hours away, so he's been up at my home here, and to see him preach in person and just the fire he has, it's amazing. Yeah. So this is probably my fourth. So we also spent Sukkot, some of Sukkot, like the high Sabbath days together, and that was just wonderful. So I thank you again, my brother.
It's good to see your face, man. I didn't know you were there. It's good to see you. Hey, man, it's good to see you. You blessed my day just to see you.
Bye, everybody else.
I love
see you all.
Glad you're here, Daniel. Glad you're here.
Thanks.
And it truly is a blessing to see the brethren's faces, huh?
Yeah.
Even if we were meeting physically someplace and you have a big long table, right? This big long table, When you're sitting at a big long table, you have that group down at that end of it. You have somebody else up, you know, in the middle, and you have down there, and you're not able to get it all because the table's too long and the voices are in the middle. But when we come together, like in a platform like this, I think the Abba has provided for us. We can all see each other face to face and really connect. And I praise Yahuwah that He has given us this technology for a season. There might be a time when we just take all this technology, all these, throw them as far as we can into some river somewhere and let them just be gone. But for now, we're blessed to be able to use it. So praise Yahuwah for that. It is a blessing to see you guys' faces. And anything else? Anybody? Any comments, questions?
Mario, I think RC wanted to make a comment quite a while ago. I see that they've got their video open, so could we invite RC if they still had a comment?
We sure can. I'm trying to click. Oh, there we go. I just unmuted his mic. There you go.
I just wanted to say it was real good hearing you, Ochan, and you know, I really liked your presentation today. So I missed the very beginning, but I'm always really impressed with your enthusiasm and how thorough you are. And I know that the Father speaks to you directly, and that you listen to His voice. And yeah, it's always good to see you, brother.
That's
forever. Yes, it is. It's Ray.
All right, man. Well, it's good to see your voice, man. You are, every time you said something, man, you know, I thought about like the text you sent me last Sabbath. You always say some warm word, man. I really love you too, man. You are truly I'm very blessed to know you guys. You and Daniel, man, I can work with you guys. So, you know, and I'm hoping that the Father is going to accomplish what He started with you guys over there and what He started with me. Together, we can do it. I'm looking forward. What gonna come out of this? I'm looking forward to it. So, I love you, man. And see you again. I'm very, very glad to see you two guys here because you guys are closer to me, and I've seen you guys personally. It's good. I'm looking forward to come back there again too. So,
well, you know, I want to also say thank you again. I don't know how many times I've said that, but I'm going to say thank you again. But I'm going to leave you with a thought to think about, and that is that these trials and these experiences come when you choose to walk it out, and when you choose to kneel before the Father and allow the Ruach to give you inspiration and study to show yourself approved. Because I don't believe that I do believe that, you know, there are certain, you know, giftings, and Ochan, I think you really have one there, you know, a gift of, you know, sharing, and, you know, but I do think that I was not a respecter of persons, and if you walk into the walk, study to show yourself approved, stay on your knees, that you're gonna have the same experiences and the same wow moments where He really something in your spirit. So tonight, when we go to sleep, those of us that live here in the United States, I know that the Shabbat already started in Australia. I'm going to try and log into that afterwards. You know, but for those of us that live here, He'll be waiting for you in the morning. You know, Abba will be waiting for you in the morning.
Well, I appreciate you, brother Mario. It's good to know you guys as I'm very blessed, man, with a covenant calendar. I watch a lot of videos, and I talk personally to Charlene. I put a little bit of how the Father connected me with Charlene, and it was a divine appointment. So, and I'm very thankful for all of you guys. I'm blessed for all of you guys. You guys think that you guys are the one that blessed? No, I am the one that go with the bigger blessing, because to see you guys encourage me in the thing that I went through, I'm still going through. And one thing that I left out was, even right now, The devil can take me to jail anytime, even right now, because the Father told me to quit working 2 years ago, and I was giving to pay $2,000. That is something that never happened here in Minnesota, for someone to pay like $2,000 for child support. That's how much they give me to pay. But I went to court after I quit working and tell them I don't work. They just say they don't care. So now money they're stacking up. In 2 years now, I hold almost, $60,000-$70,000. But you know what? I really don't care. It's not even in my mind, because I know the Father is the one that tells me to quit working so I can help these people. Whether I go to jail or not, ain't none of my business. I'm just going to stay on this one, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm the one that's being blessed. When I hear you, Brother Mario, or everybody else encouraging me like this, it is a blessing. It even wants me to do even more. So all these things, they are like my back that I don't see. I really don't. The only person that I fear, one person though, beside Yahweh. Yahweh is the one that I fear a lot, but there's another person that I fear. That is me. Because I don't trust myself. That's why I'm staying on my knees day in and day out, because I will not trust me. Without the Father, I don't trust myself. But the government, the child support, and all these guys, they are like my back, like I don't see. They have absolutely nothing to me. They're absolutely not. I just want to say thank you for that word of encouragement. So
I want to share just a really small testimony that happened for me, and if it happened for me, then I know it can happen for you. Okay. And I owed child support. Okay, but the thing is I really didn't know it, because my son lived with me, but my ex-wife filed some kind of a thing for welfare or whatever, and her other kids that weren't mine. Okay, and so they wanted me to pay all this child support, right? And I'm like, he lives with me. I mean, she should be paying me child support, right? I have custody. I have we went to school here and everything, but none of that mattered because I'm a male and she's a female. And so the word is female. It's 50-50. I get $50, or I'm sorry, she gets $50. I get 50 cents. It's kind of like that. Here in Arizona, that's how it goes. Okay, so anyway, the debt had come up with some taxes because they charge you interest on it, right? The $67,000, okay, in back child support. Went to court, and the lawyer said, look, there can't be any arrears, because arrear means you had to have an order of support for you to be in. Well, there was never an order, so you can't be in arrear of something that you weren't ordered in the first place, right? So, but they didn't care, right? And so they kept hounding me, wanting to take everything away. Well, as it would have it, I had an inheritance check came to my house. I cashed the inheritance check. I put it in the bank. That was probably pretty dumb. I put it in the bank, but you know what? Just about a week later, when I was looking at that balance, I was all, wow, look at this. I have this much money in my bank account. They had taken, guess how much? $67,000. They took it all in one whack. Boom, gone. So I went and I checked with the lawyer, and the lawyer said it'll probably cost us to try to get it back, so don't worry about it. And my wife said, well, at least they're not on our back anymore, because that's what we did. I just, put it back. I put, everything we put in my wife's name and everything and all that, and all that kind of stuff. But if he provided for me like that, one day you might just go to the mailbox and you open it up, and there's a big old check, bigger than the amount that you owe, and just let them take it out of there and call it square. Yeah. So if it happened to me, I'm sure it can happen.
Amen. I'm not worried about it. Thank you. I'm not worried about it at all. I know the Father could not tell me to quit working. You know that this thing can happen, so he had a purpose. I do trust.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, though.
You're welcome. Anyway, I wish everybody a very blessed Shabbat. Yahuwah bless you, and may your Shabbat just be full of his presence. May you enter into that presence the second you open your eyes. And for those of you that are in the Shabbat Fellowship, we'll see your face tomorrow. Yah willing, we'll be there. Shalom, shalom.
All right.
Have a wonderful night.
Shalom, shalom.
The Rev Shabbat.
Yahweh
Shalom.
bless you all.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Praise Yah.
Thank you, Ochan.